Hey everyone, this is a video response to Dan Brown. In his last video he talked about e-cigarettes and he wants to know our opinion about e-cigarettes. Are they a good thing for society? Are they a bad thing? Are they good for you? Are they bad? Will they help people out in general quit smoking or divert their activities from smoking cigarettes to e-cigarettes, which are technically better for you than smoking all of those toxins and chemicals from the cigarette itself. You're not smoking in smoke, rather you're smoking in vapor. And so I thought I would share my perspective because most of you know that I quit smoking about 2 months ago. I quit smoking cigarettes. I smoked for like 4 or 5 years, but before I quit smoking, I was smoking about 2 to 3 cigarettes a day. I wasn't even buying my own cigarettes. My friends usually gave me cigarettes to use. So there was a point where I was working at a call center, and pretty much everyone there, most of the people there smoked, and most of the people there started switching to the e-cigarettes, the long e-cigarettes, and that was working out for most of the people there. Most of the people there were middle-aged, like 50, like the age of 45 to 50, and maybe it was just the stage in life they were at, but it helped a lot of them out. A lot of them, they said that they smoked for like 30 years, they switched to the e-cigarette, and they never switched back. They loved the e-cigarette, so it worked out for them, and it seemed to catch on like a trend at that workplace where one person got it, and by the end most people were smoking e-cigarettes rather than cigarettes. It seemed like the older people were smoking the e-cigarettes, and the younger people, the people in their 20s, were still smoking the regular cigarettes, is what I noticed now that I'm thinking back to it. Anyway, I started making friends there, and there were a lot of people there that wanted me to try out the e-cigarette because they knew I smoked. They said, "Here, give this a try," and you know, I was curious, so I smoked away at those cigarettes. The thing about those e-cigarettes is that they still have a lot of nicotine in them. With a cigarette, what I found, I was smoking like 2 to 3 cigarettes a day at this point, and so I'd smoke a cigarette, and once the cigarette's done, for me, I know some people smoke 2 in a session, but I'd smoke that cigarette and I'd be done. Now with the e-cigarette, I found that you could just sit there having a conversation and continue smoking that like every couple seconds. You know, when you have a drink in your hand, a drink of beer, every once in a while you're going to take a sip. If you're just holding one of those nicotine things, then you could just be sitting there having a half an hour conversation at a party, just smoking the whole time. So I find that the potential for the amount of nicotine actually being filtered through your body is a lot higher. Like you might not get as much smoke, but I feel like the nicotine content itself would be much higher. In fact, someone was saying that they knew someone that had to go to the hospital for nicotine overdose using one of those e-cigarettes. Now what I found was I borrowed one of these at a party, and I sat there smoking for a while. The next day, for the next week, I had huge nicotine cravings, and instead of 2 or 3 cigarettes a day, I was having a lot more. I was craving cigarettes all day. I'd have like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8. So just after a couple days getting used to these e-cigarettes and switching back to cigarettes, because I didn't have one of my own and I preferred smoking cigarettes at the time, the amount of nicotine I was craving was much higher, and so when I switched back to the cigarettes, I was smoking a lot more cigarettes than the week before, and that was only after trying it a couple times. So in my case, it was kind of a negative experience. For the people that are actually able to switch to the cigarettes, then that's a good thing. Or people that are able to switch from the cigarettes to the e-cigarette, that might be a good thing, but most people who smoke cigarettes are used to smoking cigarettes, and when they switch to the e-cigarette, they don't like it as much. They prefer a cigarette. So here's an example. Say that you're eating barbecue burgers every day and they're delicious and yummy, and your doctor or maybe your significant other or a family member says, those barbecue burgers are really bad for your health. You're going to have to start eating these veggie burgers as an alternative. Now they taste almost just like a barbecue burger. We made it taste like a burger. It tastes like a beef burger. It's not quite the same, but you know, it's way healthier. So you eat the veggie burger, and the first time you eat it, you say, hey, that's actually not bad. It's not as good as a beef burger, but it's still pretty damn good. I think I could stick to that. But let's say for the next month you're hanging out with your friends, and every day, every night, they're like, man, we love our barbecue burgers. We're not going to switch from our barbecue burgers. Like, that's your thing. That's your health decision. You could stick with your veggie burgers. I know they're just not as good as a barbecue burger. So you're sitting around eating your veggie burger every single day, and all your friends are eating those delicious barbecue burgers, and every single day you smell the barbecue burgers, and at first you're like, okay, whatever, I'll eat my veggie burger. But after a while, you're that reptile part of your mind that smells that barbecue scent is going to be like, man, no, screw this, I want a barbecue burger. You kind of detach, you lose sight of the reason you switched in the first place, and you're like, no, I'm just going to go back. I don't care. I like the barbecue burgers better. It's the same thing. People who have the vapor things are like, that's actually not bad. I kind of like it. But as soon as you start walking around and smelling the actual smoke, there's something about the smell, because you're used to smoking that scent or that particular smoke. So for me, switching from cigarettes to an e-cigarette made my tolerance for nicotine a lot higher. And so when I did switch back to cigarettes, I was smoking way more cigarettes. So in my case, negative experience. And I think just knowing human psychology, I study a lot of human psychology and notice a lot of these things. I think it would probably be a similar story for a lot of people as well. So, I mean, that's just my perspective. That's just, I guess, my experience with e-cigarettes. Check out Dan Brown's video in the description below. That should be everything. Peace.